Let's talk real estate. Mark Ainley with GC Realty and Development is on the phone with Radio for Small Business. Mark, thanks for taking your time out.
Oh, I appreciate having me on.
So tell us a little bit about the type of work you do in the real estate industry.
So our company is a property manager and developer, and we have a brokerage component, which just kind of follows in line with the first two. We develop residential, single-family, multi-unit properties, and we manage all sorts of residential and commercial real estate in the Chicagoland area.
Okay, Chicagoland, I like that. What is there a suburb or something that you guys really focus in, or is it just all of Chicago?
Well, our office, we have two offices. We have an office that's located on in the western suburbs, and then we have an office in the city, which is located on the south side of Chicago, which is where we do a lot of our residential development.
Gotcha. Now, I've heard, and I've seen in other places where we may call duplexes and triplexes in other places, you guys call them 2 flats, 3 flats, and 4 flats. Am I correct on that?
Yes, they're flat.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So let's talk a little bit about, what you do at GC Realty and Development. I know you mentioned property management, development, and an in-house broker. Wow, that's quite a bit. How do you guys, tie all that together?
It all kind of works together, and we do all those things because they flow together. We buy a property using the brokerage side of things. We develop it using our property management resources. We rent it out using our brokerage side of things, and then we manage it using the management. And then if we're going to sell it, which we sell some of our properties off, we sell about 20% of our development off as turnkey properties, we then use our brokerage to sell it then. So they all flow together in one facet or another.
That's pretty awesome. So I know you know what, we jumped right into the business part. I didn't even ask you about yourself, man. Tell us about Mark Ainley and your personal background and your business background, and then we'll get back to real estate.
Well, I was fortunate enough to get into real estate at a young age, and it wasn't really 100% on purpose. I got out of college really just exploring what I wanted to do next. I went to college for telecommunications and networking. I thought computers would be a safe career to choose when I didn't really know what else to choose. So I went after some sort of technology background. And after I got out of school, the market was kind of on the way up, and that was 2003. And we all know what happened the next 3-4 years as things really peaked. But I got into real estate because it was really easy to get into, and I initially got in as an investor, buying basically condo conversions from the first phase, just individual condos. My best friend at the time was working as a real estate agent, and he kept telling me, "Mark, get your real estate license, get your real estate license." And I never listened to him. So one day, I bought a property. I came home. I told him about this property I bought. He took his little calculator out of his briefcase he had, and he did the math on it, flipped it to me, and it said like $3,300 on there. He said, "Mark, this could have been your commission today." And all in a matter of seconds, I said I could use that money for this, I could use it for this, I could use it for this, and then right away again I realized I don't have that money, and that made me mad that day. And that was the day he got through to me that I should go get my license.
Wow!
So I got my license right away. Then within the next few months after that.
Wow, so that was the catalyst, not realizing that you didn't have that $3,300 that could have been yours, huh?
Yes, like I said, they flow. The businesses flow together, so you might as well try to profit from each aspect of it.
Gotcha. So tell us about, I guess, your start, that first year, that first 2 years in the real estate industry as an investor, not necessarily as a broker yet, but as an investor. Tell us about that time. Well,
in 2000, there's a couple of different lanes of me being an investor over my career. In the beginning, when I first got my license, telling that story, I bought real estate, and I thought, and basically everyone at the time was buying real estate, and if you held it for 6 months, you could flip it and make 30 or 40 grand, just because prices were going so wild.
Right.
The words cash flow really didn't exist in my vocabulary back then, and when it came up in conversation, I almost looked at the other guy like he was crazy. So when I was really, in hindsight, the green one, I guess. But we did a series of flips and rehabs and flips. Some just kind of putting a renter in there for a year and then working off the appreciation that was kind of coming naturally. We flipped a couple right out, and we did that all the way up until probably about 2007 when, we really got out of those last couple of deals, and I'm still lucky that we were fortunate enough to get out of those couple of deals, because a couple of them that we had, we sold off at the last minute right before kind of everything crashed, and
wow.
Really that first part of 2008.
Wow. So knowing in hindsight that you probably dodged one of the biggest economic bullets since, the Great Depression, what did you learn in hindsight now looking back to that?
In hindsight, I've learned that in my second career as an investor, I learned that appreciation really is just secondary to cash flow. Appreciation is a bonus to cash flow. And leverage, making sure you control your leverage. Without really realizing what I was doing, everything was leverage back then. Everything was, the banks, they gave me loans I should have never gotten. Now I've learned that I would never go after those type of loans, even if I could get them. And a lot of people got hurt by those.
Oh, man.
More people did than not.
Wow. So in a way, you were definitely blessed. You were definitely covered, because you not only got loans that you shouldn't have gotten, you got loans that you wouldn't even go back as a professional today and get, but yet you still got out and you did okay.
Yeah. I got stuck with a couple properties that still I keep today that just kind of, I have two children now, and I have those two properties, and they're basically, I'm just going to keep them forever. And one will pay someone's college, and the other will pay the other one's college 15, 18 years down the road.
Awesome. Now, I heard you mention first career in real estate. What's the second career? Let's talk about that.
Well, when everything crashed, we really started, and prices dropped everywhere, especially around here. And as a real estate broker, I took a client to an auction downtown Chicago one day. And at that auction, he purchased 3 properties for $70,000. Blew my mind. I never seen anything like that before. And he kind of that investor turned me on to what we got into in the first part of 2009, which was buying properties in lower income areas, fixing them up, and kind of treating them as buy and hold. And we've really been doing that. We did that for about 4 years, and then we revisited our business model and moved to a little safer and better neighborhoods, and continue to do the same model with a turnkey component that we've added in just in the last 24 months.
So when you say turnkey, and I have a great idea of what you're talking about, but just for the listeners, just in case they don't know, can you explain what turnkey properties are, or the turnkey business model?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a big fan of that word turnkey. And sometimes I use it just because it's a clear to other people that might understand. But really what we do is we buy properties, and we fix them up and rent them out. And every maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 we do, so 20 or 30% of the properties we buy to hold, we sell off to investors. We sell that off pretty much turnkey. It's ready to go. They basically close. That day they're getting a credit at closing for the rent for that period of month. And it's fully rehab properties, and they're getting 9 to 12% return on the cash flow that property is supposed to be producing.
Wow. So let's get back to, GC Realty Development's, core business. Tell us a little bit more about, how you market, how you bring in the deals, how you relate to, your customers and clients. We'd love to know.
The one thing that's been top at the front of our goals is to create a team with our company. As our company's grown over the years, so we started in 2003, and so we've been around 12 years in September as a legal entity, I guess. And that has faced the challenge of me growing personally as the leader of the company, and that has brought on me wanting, you have to step away from wearing every single hat at some point. You have to hire first hire, then you have to hire second hire, then you have to hire an accounting department eventually, and all those things come in steps. And that's something we have someone that does marketing and getting new leads. And when we meet a new client, or we have the opportunity to get in front of a new client, whether it be on the brokerage side or the property manager side or the turnkey side, I always make it clear to introduce our team. Whether it just be in a flyer or in a phone conversation. But it's the team that really makes GC run its day to day, because I can't do everything. I tried at one point, but we eventually had to start hiring people.
So, well, was there like a big, event that made you say, "Listen, I got to get somebody else to do this stuff," or was it just your smarts to where you were ahead of the game and you decided to start building that team up?
Just not being able to get out ahead and do the things I wanted to do to grow the business, to work on the business versus always working in the business is really what made us say, all right, we need to get some people in here to really help on the day-to-day.
Gotcha.
That's really what it came down to, not be able to work on the business.
Wow. So I definitely, and just in case you're just tuning in, we've been talking to Mark Ainley with GC Realty and Development in the Chicagoland area. Mark, why don't you give the listeners a way to get a hold of you or to contact you just in case they'd like some more information? You
can definitely always reach us at our office here, 630-587-7400. I'll leave my email on here too, Mark, M-A-R-K, at GCRealtyInc.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GC Realty and Dev, so GCREALTANDDEV. And you can also like us on Facebook. That's what everyone says, right?
Absolutely. Mark Ainley, GC Realty and Development, thanks for taking your time out here on Radio for Small Business.
Great. Thank you for having me.